today's story is about Jesus and his disciples on a boat during a storm. So this story is in several of the Gospels which are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So we're going to read what is written in the book of Mark, chapter 4, starting with verse 35, going through verse 41. Jesus calms a storm. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was, and other boats were with him. And a great storm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" And he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great fear and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" And our memory verse for today is from John, chapter 14, verse 27. And it says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." So this is our first story from the New Testament. So this is our first story for this week with Jesus in it. So now Jesus is on earth, and his disciples get to know him and see him and be with him. And they've believed in God for a long time, just like all the people in our stories from earlier this week have believed in God and done brave things because they trusted God. And now these disciples are learning to trust Jesus as part of God, as God's son, as the Messiah that came to earth for them. And they're seeing that he can do amazing things and that he will take care of them. And it's a whole new kind of faith. And so sometimes they get afraid, and sometimes they don't know that they can trust him. But he proves it to them here on this boat, right? They've seen him do amazing things, but they didn't know for sure if he would save them when they needed help. But he did, and he stopped even the wind and the waves. He proves that he is in control of everything, whether it be people or weather or any scary thing that could happen, any bad thing that could happen. God is in control. So he tells the waves, "Peace, be still." And then in our memory verse, he says that he's going to give us peace, not peace that we can get from the world or peace like we might try to find in the world, but peace that comes only from him. Peace that passes all understanding, right? You may have heard that before. Peace that maybe doesn't make sense. We can't understand what it would look like for somebody to speak and a storm to stop. But that's the kind of peace that God has, and that's the kind of peace he can give to us if we trust and we let him do the work. We let him do the work in our lives, we let him do the work in our hearts, and we allow him to have the control that only he has, because we can't control everything that happens to us.